am in charge of understanding and working with teachers on curriculum from early years all the way to high school. And hopefully we will give you some insights today and answer some questions or wanderings you might have about what that actually means in our context here at Green School Bali. So let's hop right into it. Green School mission. And what's important about our mission is it's not only something that you see on a website or is written down on a piece of paper, it's something that you truly feel as you walk into our campus. So our mission is to be a community of learners making the world sustainable. And this permeates everything we do, from curriculums to our relationships between teachers and students or teachers in the community. Our goal is to come together as a community and work towards adding longevity to the world and the relationships within that world. So although we do have concepts like you'll see on the next slide that are more traditional, that is our mission. So to answer one of the questions that comes up right away, does Green School teach maths? Is there literacy or English at Green School? It is very much, or these topics are very similar to aligned standards that you would see in other schools. So in mathematics, for example, you're still going to come across subjects that deal with measurement, number, statistics, probability, algebra, same with literacy, and same with science. And all of these are mapped and aligned with grade level content that you would find in a variety of countries around the world. And this is important because we have a diverse student body. So we try our best to ensure that we are following a sequence of these core proficiency subjects that no matter if a family stays for 1 year or many years, that as they transition out of Green School, they've been successful enough and progressed enough in these subjects that there is transferability towards other schools. Now, with that said, next slide, please. That academic learning looks different for us here. So it doesn't entail things like sitting at a desk completing worksheets. We really, truly focus on the three concepts of thematic, experiential, and project-based learning. And we do this because we feel that the learners now in our ever-changing world need those problem-solving, communication, critical thinking, intelligent skills that go and are developed from concepts like experiences or projects or interacting with people and individuals around the community. So, although that content exists within our classes, it is done in these three following focuses. Next slide, please. And we use the terminology thematic. You can envision this as integrated, people call it transdisciplinary, but the basic core concept is that you are studying a theme or a topic and approaching that through a lens of mathematics or with a focus of science or through the lens of literature. And as you enter a classroom, you aren't boxed in, literally, but you're not boxed in by feeling like you are in a math class because there is always systems going on. There's always interconnectivity between math topics and arts or math and science. And within our courses, we intentionally bring out and put a focus on those interconnectedness or that interconnectedness of these disciplines. So no matter if you're in early years or all the way up to high school, in these thematic classes, you are looking to find those connections through the core disciplines, but in unique, real world and skill building ways. Next slide, please. And within all of that is my favorite part about what we do here is building experiential learning, which means giving students the opportunity to truly experience what this learning means. So getting out of the classroom, getting hands dirty, getting those different senses and embodying what that learning means in a practical way. So without the ability for students to apply and really experience content, that retention won't last, that love for learning won't last. So we look for as much opportunity as possible for students to truly experience this content as well. With that said, not every class is experiential learning. There are times where discrete skills are necessary, whereas a more standardized approach to teaching and learning will take place. Sometimes we need to organize and have students really nail down some mathematical, science, or literacy skills so that they can apply it later on. So this isn't every hour of every day, but it is truly rooted in the belief of what we do and allowing students as many opportunities as possible. Next slide, please. And one perfect example of this is our Jalan program, which in middle school and high school runs for half a day each week, and in primary school is an afternoon once a week. And the purpose of this program is to allow students some autonomy on electing into courses that are community service-based, entrepreneurial-based, or outdoor adventure. And usually each term there are different themes that students can elect into, but this truly gets students on or off campus, but jumping into their learning. You see a few photos here of concepts like coral restoration or project development at local schools we have around Sibang Kaja. And this is a small list of a vast, diverse list that exists for our Jalan program. Next slide, please. And project-based learning is the last concept that fits into our pedagogical and curriculum approach to Green School Bali. And these projects come in a wide variety of forms, and they might look different in high school versus primary versus early years, but what we are doing is finding ways for our students to practically evidence that they are making progress in their learning. And these projects can be anything from term-long projects to multi-year projects to a project that's finished in 1 week. And they look completely different across the school and throughout the school year. One of the highlights of our individual project-based learning classes is our capstones, which happen at the end of the year. We have footprints in grade 5, Quest in grade 8, and Greenstone in grade 12. And these end with students presenting their own passion projects that are rooted in areas like entrepreneurship, service, or well-being. And students present what is kind of like a TED Talk style presentation about their journeys, about the process, and show us the final product, which is only one small aspect of project-based learning. It is truly that ideation, process, and reflection about that journey that creates the holistic effect of what a true project-based learning experience is. Next slide, please. And lastly, social emotional, something that we've had as part of our program since the very start of Green School. And we truly try to cater and nurture our students from a very young age to the time they're 18 years old, to allow them to explore the world themselves, but also feeling like they have a blanket or network of community and individuals around them that are there to uplift, who are there to help, and to navigate the different social emotional challenges that students experience. And it's inevitable. Although I feel like the well-being of our students at Green School is as good, if not better, than most places in the world, as you walk through our gate, the troubles of being a teenager or interrelationships between students, those still exist. So we as educators are here to truly help students navigate those emotions and those relationships in a kind, gentle, and nurturing way. And how skills and values are incorporated into our curriculum. So again, we teach knowledge-based concepts, but those are so closely intertwined with skills and practical skills that students need to be successful not only here, but when they graduate and leave us. So our Green School skills underpin all of our course creation. They underpin our assessment styles, and we look to ensure students are solving problems, thinking critically, think in systems, collaborate, be aware. These are all core components of courses as we create them and start developing them for students. And just like our values, which is a community initiative, really, the I Respect values are something that need to start in the classroom, extend to break time, extend to parent relationships, and continue to be talked about at home. Building this culture is what really gives us success in building an understanding of how to be an integral person or build true community and trust. So again, these values underpin all of our interactions, all the classes we teach, and all of our policies really here at Green School Bali. Next slide, please. And I think that whenever I talk about values, I always want to think and tell a story about what it's like to be here at Green School. Because I did a podcast yesterday, and it was really nice being able to genuinely describe an experience that our families get, that our students get, but might not be seen by parents to the level that teachers see it. So what I want to do is take a single moment for you all, whether you're a little learner or an adult, but think of a moment or an individual teacher in your life that you remember fondly, maybe because that teacher empowered you, they had a great relationship with you, or just believed in you as an individual. Most people are able to come up with a teacher and educator in their life that they hold in that regard and remember very fondly. And I get to work with 100 educators around me who are those people. So everyone here is living into and at their core values have the exact same belief as me in terms of what we're trying to achieve as a school, what we're trying to achieve as educators. So our relationships with students, our absolute drive towards creating a sustainable and regenerative world and courses is what you get from 8 a.m. till you leave at 4 p.m. from everyone around you. And that has such an impact on the students here at the school, because no matter where you go, you're surrounded by what is sometimes sickly, happy people who are all invested in the same thing. And sometimes that's not able to be seen by parents, but is something that I truly hold true in my heart as an experience that is very unique to Green School Bali. A few more touch points is, again, we also have an emphasis on arts, theater, and fine arts. And these are some examples of how our students are experiencing themselves through different art classes throughout the grade levels. We also have, next slide please, a Wellhurst physical well-being program that's ingrained in building physical literacy skills in students, understanding how they connect to themselves, but also to the others in Earth. And these are all opportunities for students to participate in during the day and after school. Next slide, please. And we're also very invested in community-wide projects. So here are 3 examples of concepts we do that extend beyond the walls of campus. We have our Kambali Recycling Center, which is just outside of campus, where families can bring or the community can bring a variety of recyclable items that we distribute and make sure get put in the right place. We have a mangrove sanctuary that we care for, clean, and ensure that the aquatic life in those mangroves can thrive. And our BioBus program, which works with local businesses around to take their used cooking oil and convert that into working fuel that runs our buses. And these are all student involved and student driven to continue to push and be successful in our community. And those are just some of the few concepts that we do both in the school, but also externally outside of the school. Next slide, please. And again, I talked about experiential learning before. Here are a few examples of those Jalans. It might be small, but anything from cooking to sailing to coding to adventures to cycling through the rice fields, scuba diving, surfing, a bunch of different things. So these are all go out there as resources for you to take a look at, but really for an opportunity for students to truly experience what learning might look like in an experience setting. Next slide, please. And lastly, what does a weekly program look for my students? So I talked a bit about the core academics. I talked a bit about what thematic experiential learning is, but what does a timetable look like? So we'll quickly have a look of where hours are allocated to for different grade levels. Next slide, please. So if you can envision, there are still 4 hours a week that are based on mathematic literacy or thematic-based classes. And then we follow a schedule of about 2-hour specialist subjects through concepts like green studies, cultural art, music, well-being, and Bahasa Indonesia. And these change slightly throughout the years because we truly believe in allowing students to follow areas of passion and build autonomy. So by the time a student is in middle school, they are already looking to elect into about 40% of their classes. So if they have a deeper interest in music or exercise or green studies, they have the opportunity to take more classes in those subjects, which again, at the end of the day, means you're taking less of something else, but you're starting to build a skill set and a pathway that you're truly passionate about and can build skills and knowledge in. And we'll quickly take a look at the high school calendar or day-to-day or weekly calendar. So in high school, students get to choose each and every class. There are options in each of these colored boxes. These are little blocks that students can choose from. So if you can imagine each term, each colored block has about 9 different classes you can take during that time. So this is one example of what would be 1,000 different examples of what a student timetable could look like. But generally, this is how learning is distributed for a high school student here at Green School Bali. And this, for anyone who's really interested into any in-depth work about what I do. So I am the head of curriculum. We've developed, this is a screenshot of our curriculum framework, which is the what of what we do. And there is an individualized one of these for early years, primary, middle school, and high school. And just to begin rolling it out and socializing for individuals, how this looks for teachers or individual students at our school, this is just a snippet of a part of our program and the aspects of our curriculum that we truly find important and look for connections in between. So if anyone has questions about that, that's something I can answer later, but is something I find really cool and close to my heart, so I wanted to share it as well.